This is a series about psychology in video games. This episode will be about 1v1s and how they can be unbalanced. The first statement I must bring to the table before any other statements are made is that 1v1s are not a reliable measurement of skill. It is a measurement of momentary dominance over another player, which really isn't even a measurement, it's more of a Boolean value. If you're a programmer, you'll know what I'm saying. Now you may question this statement given its broadness, but I may say that oftentimes 1v1 games do not occur under controlled circumstances and allow biased opinions. The player is never broken down based off their skills, but they often take the results as the total thing for who's the better player. It is a major factor, but there are many other external forces that affect the gameplay. A player's skill level will never be constant. It'll always be dynamic. It'll always change. And even if you were to measure your exact skill level, it'll be impossible to get an exact reading. You would always have to rely on an average. But what you're looking for is in a 1v1 is to figure out which player is better, and oftentimes like one player not be in their ideal play conditions, which makes it kind of unbalanced because let's say they're playing the game and all of a sudden their little brother just randomly walks up to him, grabs the controller, they get killed. That oftentimes skews the results, which would happen. There's many other external factors that could actually affect them based off the player's mood or like some external force, actual force, like the brother stealing the remote controller. So, what would it take to make an accurate gameplay recording the different skill levels of two different players and comparing them? Now, 1v1 is not going to cut it. You're going to have to do multiple 1v1s an average amount to try to figure out who has the best skill level. Now, to measure your skill level, there may be a lot of factors that you put into it depending on how complex you want to make it. But for most people, they'll just go simple and just who won the match and then record them together. But it could also you could also make a chart on how many kills each player got each game in an average amount for the average KD or the average amount of kills that you got per match. And this might be a factor to help you do that. But how do you make it accurate that you got that it was a fair match? Well, you got to make it so that both players are in the ideal condition. There's not a bunch of noise. There's not a little brother grabbing your controller. There's not too hot of a temperature in the room. Maybe you're in a secluded area just chilling on the couch, somewhere comfortable, and then playing the game. And one thing that can skew the results is if both players are ranting back and forth at each other, insulting their gameplay. It also could add a little bit of adrenaline for the player, and it can improve their ego, say they're doing good or not, which can also change the gameplay, which I'll get into that in a second. But given that this might be a little bit hard to make, because oftentimes for certain people it might be difficult to find a quiet spot in their house. Maybe they have a loud neighborhood, maybe they have loud people living in their house, who knows. Like, it may be impossible for them to find an environment suitable for playing in, which would make it a little bit harder to get accurate results. Now I'm going to talk about egos and how they affect the gameplay. Now, you often tend to have people cussing back and forth, ranting about how their gameplay or making all fun and games, but that can also affect the gameplay itself, because since they're screaming, having fun, getting excited, that kind of gives them a boost of adrenaline, so their reflexes will actually increase, making it difficult for the other person to react faster than they can. Even though this is a completely fair game, anybody can increase their ego to improve performance, it does actually affect the results of the game. If one person got the first kill, it's possible it could lead to them getting all of the kills, because they got that first kill. It was a 360 no-scope. They got a huge ego behind them, a lot of adrenaline, and then they're probably going to drive the whole match, possibly. It all depends on how far they get into this, but yeah, that could possibly win or lose the match depending on who gets the first kill, who's doing the best, what type of trick shots you're doing. It could drive you to do better, possibly, in certain situations. Now this will affect the other player as well because they aren't getting any kills at all, so it'll actually make them angry, and when you get angry, you don't really think as well. It's more of a act now thing where you just go in and try to put as much force into what you're doing as possible, but that kind of sacrifices accuracy, so you may not be able to get as many kills as you would normally if you were just chilled back and concentrating on the game and what they're doing and trying to predict what actions that they will do in the future. So you will get pissed off, you won't get any kills, and then you might get to a point where you just want to rage quit because there's actually literally no chance that you're probably going to get a kill unless it's out of luck, and then that might actually throw you back into the game depending on what your personality is like. Now I observed this in Call of Duty before. I used to play Call of Duty a lot more. I used to be better at Call of Duty, but I haven't played it in quite a while. I've been more doing work than anything in school. So back in the day, I had a friend, I'm not going to say any names, we played a Call of Duty match. He doesn't commonly play Call of Duty, but this would have inspired me to make this episode. Me and him were playing a Call of Duty match, and I was kind of defeating him. I was kicking his ass in Call of Duty, and it kind of angered him. Like, it looked like he was about to rage quit, so I figured, why don't I just share some of the fun in the match, and I allowed him to kill me a few times, just going easy on him. I said, like, let's just go easy on him. Maybe he won't quit the match, maybe it'll share the fun. And by doing this, I kind of turned the match around in his favor because he got a few kills, and that got him really excited. So that kind of boosted his adrenaline. He got more accuracy, he was more motivated, and he started to kill me. He killed me more and more and more to the point where it eventually got where I couldn't actually kill him because he was motivated to play the game again. He wasn't angry, so he was actually thinking about what moves I was going to choose. I was actually allowing him to win. In the multiplayer setting, you want to avoid the person actually doing this, but in a 1v1, this one was just friendly. I just kind of just let him do that, and that what's allowed him to defeat me. In the previous 2 matches or something, like, I got way more kills than him, but in this match, like, he kind of crushed me. So this was my inspiration for this episode, was this moment in time. That's where I derived my theory from, and every little thing about 1v1s from this episode. And I hope this series will help people who are in gaming, because when you're playing a game, you oftentimes don't think about the individual little factors that affect it. And I hope this series will actually open some people's eyes to what happens inside a natural match. And hopefully you'll learn some things from here, like raging is not good in video games. Like, I see that oftentimes in multiplayer games where you see a guy going like, he's a hacker, and then like he's just raging, and I wonder why he's not winning, because he's raging. He's not going to be as accurate. He's not paying attention to what they're doing. He's just going to be pissed off and pay attention to how pissed he's at how that guy's doing so good. So this is going to be the end of the episode. I hope you learned something from this, and depending on how good these episodes do, I will make more.